Good day, everyone. I'm Jake Mercado, and I'm with Kathleen Grace Racelis, Mark Nathaniel Peñaranda, John Rafael Tagbago, Angel Marilyn, and Maria Pelagia Rodelas. And we are going to present our research study entitled Research Conduction, Experience of Selected Grade 12 Students and Practical Research. General objective. The general objective of this study is to determine the different life experience of selected grade 12 students in conducting a research. Statement of the problem. Main. What are the experience of selected grade 12 students on research conduction? Specific. What are the obstacles faced by the grade 12 students in research conduction? How do they manage to overcome these obstacles? What are the factors that contribute to the difficulties that grade 12 students experience while conducting a research? How do these obstacles affect the researcher and their study? Significance of the study. This study was significant to the following. To the amateur researcher, the results of this study could help them to know the experience of research conducting, and they could also be their foundation to build a new strategy for easily conducting research. To the professor, this study could help them to understand the different experiences of researchers in conducting research. To the family of the researcher, this study can provide them with knowledge to analyze what their son-daughter experienced during conduction of research, and for them to provide assistance they need. To the future researcher, this study could be a source of knowledge for future researcher. The result of this study could also be reference to developing studies that accords to research conduction.
Obstacles on research conduction. Research conduction isn't an easy task. According to Vash et al. March 2020, pharmacy education had varying levels of training in qualitative research, with some having none at all. Research is a systematic investigation into and study of materials and sources in order to establish facts and reach a new conclusion. According to research experience, the possibilities method of scientific inquiry has been utilized in nursing. Phenomenological inquiry captures the essence of the phenomenon and accurately portrays it through the lived experience.
Contributing factors and obstacles. By dealing with intimate problems, could take up some of one mental space and impede with academic endeavors. Sometimes, the most effective method to solve a problem relies on what caused it. Thus, one must figure it out why the problem occurs. However, the best course of action is typically to simply resolve the issue. Obstacle and its effect on the research conduction. Problems in research are hindrances not only to the researchers but also to the research itself. This problem affect the entire research conduction and its result. By recognizing this obstacle, the researchers and researchers user can communicate more effectively, solve problems more quickly, and really employ the result of the research. Inability to do this might result in a delay in the completion of the research task and may result in interruption, irreparable harm, and an unsuccessful study.
Moving on to this study's methodology. Phenomenological design was utilized in this qualitative study, prioritizing the experiences of the respondents and diving deeper into their thoughts. With the help of the interview approach, the researchers were able to connect with the respondents and to have intimate acquaintance with regards to the subject. This study is conducted at Landy National High School along with the 5 chosen respondents of grade 12 students from different senior high school strands. These respondents are qualified based from the researcher's observation. Qualifying, first, they have the experience in conducting a research. Second, they are academically active, especially in the field of subject research. With that, they will be able to answer the questions given by the respondents in regards to this study. To gather data, the researchers first held an observation. After the observation and selection of respondents, the researchers prepared a set of questionnaires as their guide for the interview proper. Before the data gathering procedure proper, the researchers made sure of arranging all the permissions that need or necessary for this study to be conducted, involving the permission to the research advisor of the researchers, the research teachers of the respondents, and the principal of the school. Moving on to this study's data gathering procedure proper wherein it was divided in 4 stages. The first stage is the search for respondents. The second is making the questionnaires for the guide of the interview. Third is appointing interview schedules with the respondents wherein 2 students are targeted per day, but still scheduled date of respondents will be respected. And fourth stage is the interview proper with the students. Now moving on to the final part of the methodology of this study, wherein the data gathered was analyzed by the researchers by transcribing and interpreting the data thoroughly. The data gathered were qualitatively analyzed, undergo data validation, and data editing. To make it easier to study the data or the results, the researchers transcribed all the audio data into text format. The researchers reviewed the transcript many times to deeply understand the data. After regulating themes and codes across all interviews, the researchers were able to identify and classify all these codes.
Table 1. In this in-depth study, research conduction involves obstacles along the way. The commonly faced obstacles are classified categorically based on their experience with their practical research subject. It is natural to face barriers in conducting research based on the interview conducted by the researcher. Senior high school or grade 12 student commonly face challenges that regard their ignorance and complexity of this conduction as a researcher. Table 2. This study or table shows the factors that affect the difficulties of research conduction. Based on the researcher experience with the topic in their practical research, the commonly effect or categorize in doing research, it is natural to encounter difficulties while conducting research, and these difficulties may affect the research study output. Based on the research Sir grade 12 student interviewed by the researcher, there are different difficulties that they face when they are doing research. In resource, they are lacking in finding different references and other resources may have payment, which the researcher can afford. In managing their time, there are factors that affect them in conducting research like doing other tasks in other subjects and the time given by the teacher in conducting research, and knowledge most beginners lack in conducting research. Table 3. This table demonstrates the impact of the difficulties experienced by researchers based on their experience with the topic of their practical research. The common effects are categorized. It is normal to encounter obstacles while performing research, and these obstacles may also have an impact on research study output. According to senior high or grade 12 student interviewed by the researcher, it serves as guide, provide new knowledge, and also help them remain attentive in discussion so that they can recognize the various ways to be used in completing a research. Additionally, it is encouraged them to complete the study even though they are having difficult time.
Based on the result of the study, the researcher therefore concluded that the learning which the student researchers got from their class discussions and applied in the conduct of their research work is not very recent that result in serious academic difficulties and failures. The cooperation of the chosen responsibility of the academic institution is a very crucial problem. To some extent, students also felt that those personal problems like stress management may disturb their concentration. Mostly, their difficulties focus on conflicts in time management. They cannot proceed if most of the time their minds are preoccupied. When doing a research paper, one must have enough time to work on. Additionally, a financial problem is also a factor that affects them since choosing for a research topic. Based on the findings of the study, the following recommendations are suggested. Address all the experience that the students encounter in conducting research. Teachers and schools should provide guidance and support on how students can improve their knowledge. This can be achieved through effective discussion of topics of research conduction, giving students advice and encouraging them to do research not because of the grade because it can help them to get ready for college. Provide resources for students. Schools can provide different research materials, both printed and digital, to support students who may not have access to these resources. Additionally, schools can offer them technology and provide gadgets to use access the different resources they need in conducting research. Giving a helping hand. Every student should help each other to improve the quality of their works and to lessen their pressure to pass on time. Longer time allotment. Higher department officials should offer the practical research one subject in 2 semesters instead of 1 semester, to give the student researchers reasonable time to finish the required research output with the highest quality they can give. Then lastly, topic discussion. Time management topic should be included in the discussion of the subject for the students to be more aware that time management is precious, and this would aid them in establishing routines, setting goals, and understanding priorities in conducting research study.